Cannons go boom, quill in the ink, plotting your doom. Rum in the flask, we're feeling so bold. Pirates don't ask, we be taking the gold. Storm clouds rolling, tides going mad. Who's out sailing? Shout it out, Captain Ned. Captain Ned.
Ahoy and welcome, crew, to Riftbound Summoners Skirmish. We have the final match, the championship match, Tyler versus Chris today, Bit Prodigy versus Headshot. So excited to be here, finally getting this one out. It has been a production process filled with, let's say, lots of learning experiences. Chris starting off the game here, he does play his Ravenbloom student to the base, leading out here with the Grove of the Godwillow. Tyler playing for his first turn Daring Poro with a recruit token to back it up on the base, leading out on Trifarian Warcamp for his battlefield. For the first time ever, we got some multi-camera action going on here. Give you some insight to the player's hands. Over Chris's shoulder at the moment, staring at a Kaisa, Stupefy, Noxus, Hopeful it looks like. A Retreat possibly, didn't catch the last card, but yeah, we'll be able to see some of their cards, hopefully be able to gain some insight to what they might be thinking here. Chris gonna take his Ravenbloom student up into the Grove of the Godwillow, score his first point of the game. And with a couple of Kaisas, I wonder if he's going to bring out a Kaisa early or if he's just going to sit back and play a little bit. Here we go. Here's our answer. Stupefy coming down, drawing a card. We're thinking the Noxus Hopeful play. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yep, Legion trigger. I was wondering if he was just going to waste that there to get the extra might out on the battlefield. Not a bad play. Noxus Hopeful comes down straight to Grove of the Godwillow. Taking a peek over here in Tyler's hand for a moment. Looks like got a Soaring Scout, Poro, Hidden Blade, Sprite Mother, and looks Grand Stratagem in the back of the hand. So he does have his finisher card already ready to go. If he can get some tokens out, this could be an interesting game. Tyler, very methodical, somebody who's very strategic. Always considers all of his options before he makes any quick impulsive plays, something I appreciate about him. So yeah, like I said, some multi-camera action here. We'll give you a little preface here. About 6 or 7 minutes in here, I do seem to lose the main footage. Not quite sure what happened while I'm switching around and doing this. It seemed like it was recording at the time, but I'm not sure if I lost the codec and transferring files or what. Thankfully, we have multi-cameras going on, so we are able to keep up with the action, but it does get a little interesting, you could say, for the last few minutes of this first match. The next two games, no problem. Everything looks a little bit better. It comes in a little bit more fluidly, but just a little heads up, that's what's going on for the last few minutes of this match. Tyler finishing off his turn here with Sprite Mother to the base, allowing him to make a Sprite token, moving that Sprite token up into the Grove of the Godwillow, challenging for a little bit of action here. Looks like he has passing priority over to Chris. Chris with his one rune available. Looks like he will retreat, targeting the Ravenbloom student. Will allow him to eat that token from the Sprite Mother in that case. With Tyler bringing up the extra 2 units, that will trade for the Noxus Hopeful. And that will allow him to at least maintain some battlefield pressure here, some tempo in the sense of the battlefield, in the bench. Chris drawing a Falling Star, it looks like, for this turn. Looks like he's got another Falling Star in backup, second Kaisa in his hands, and a Cleave. Starting off the turn here, we're going to get Falling Star going, 2 units. As the only 2 units on the battlefield, or excuse me, on the board, we're going to target the Recruit token and the Sprite Mother. For the rest of the runes, we're going to bring out Kaisa Survivor, accelerated, and bring her into Grove of the Godwillow. Score a second point. finish off his turn, and we'll move over to Tyler's. Blast Cone Fey, is that what he drew there? No, yeah, possibly. He's got the Poro, possibly. Ready to go. Starting off the turn with the Hidden Blade, looks like instead. Gonna take the opportunity to hit the Kaisa while Chris is fully exhausted. Chris drawing 2 cards. He's gonna get a Stupefy and a Darius. Not a bad trade. Soaring Scout coming down for Tyler. A legend ability for Viktor will allow the recruit to be made at the base as well. Passing it back over to Chris. Honestly, pretty even game so far still. Chris up a couple points, but Tyler does have the advantage with the board presence. We did see Chris draw into that Darius just a moment ago and retreat the Ravenbloom student, so we know he's got a couple of units. Second Falling Star coming down for the start of this play, though. And a second Kaisa, you bet. If it was good last turn, it's probably good this turn. Basically reiterates the same thing as last turn, so we'll allow him to go up to 3 points with that Conquer, draw another card, drawing a Cathian Rain there, so both players having their late games in hand. Although I would say in this case, Kaisa's late game signature spell is going to be a little bit more impactful than a grand stratagem with no units on the board. Tyler did draw into a Singularity as well, so another option here. It just doesn't feel super great. Deciding to burn the Singularity just for the Kaisa here. Deals 6 damage to any unit at a battlefield. Kaisa will be taken down. Chris is fully exhausted on runes, so no available actions for him there. Playing the recruit token to the base as the final rune for Tyler here. Straightening up his board. And passing it back over to Chris. Like I said, I think the camera gets a little bit funny here, so we'll do the best we can to keep the action as center screen as possible. Chris coming down with Darius. We got a Darius versus a recruit, basically, but we know that Chris got a follow-up, so Darius will be ready, gains the extra might. Conquers up into the Grove of the Godwillow, scores a 4th point. So now the tempo is starting to phase a little bit. I feel like Tyler may be a little bit preemptive on that Singularity. We know that Chris has an extra unit, at least in the Ravenbloom. He's probably going to draw into something bigger. I feel like letting him have an extra point on that hold probably wouldn't have been the end of the world with the Kaisa, but I understand the urgency of trying to hit her while Chris is fully exhausted. Just wonder if that might have been able to delay that. Just wondering. We'll see how this one turns out. I understand not wanting to give a draw, and yeah, that's what Tyler says. He says maybe just overvaluing that battlefield a little bit. Starting off the turn with a Seal, floating the rune, playing the grand stratagem for 1 unit. He says it doesn't feel good, but that will allow him to conquer into the Grove of the Godwillow. Plus 5 might on that recruit token will destroy the Darius there. Playing the Darius, playing the state student, did fully tap out Chris last turn. So again, this last few turns for both players, having to fully tap out. No counterplay. Free to do whatever they want when they're taking their turns. Chris taking the beginning of this turn to move student up into the Grove of the Godwillow. That will allow him to conquer to 5. Watchful Sentry comes down to the base. First spell played, triggering Legion. So Noxus Hopeful comes down for 2. We're going to go ahead and play it up on the Grove of the Godwillow. Recruit, not going to be able to do much against 2 units there. I mean, even Imperial Decree in this situation doesn't trade for much. now. Only 2 cards in hand. Is that what I believe I see here for Tyler? 3 cards maybe? Yeah, 3 cards. Not feeling super great. He does still have his his champion over there, so we have a little bit of an out in the sense that it's not completely over. You do have a unit to play. Moving the recruit token up into the Trifarian Wart camp. Start off the turn, goes up to 2 points. Plays Daring Poro here at the base. Daring Poro, unfortunately, not going to be able to do a whole lot for him with so much might at that Grove of the Godwillow already. Finishing the turn here with Viktor leader coming to the base as well. Fully exhausted again. Not a great feeling, but kind of have to do what you have to do, and he's already so far behind here. Chris going to go up to 6 points at the beginning of this turn here. Feeling like he's got it pretty well in the bag already, I'd say. We know he's got a Cathian Rain. He's got a multitude of cards in his hand here with answers versus the 2 cards that...
I'll give it to you. You got it.
Yeah, all right. A Cathian Rain comes down, and Tyler will concede this first match. We'll take it into game 2.
Sails in the wind, cannons go boom, quilling the ink, plotting your doom, drumming the flask, we're feeling so bold, pirates don't ask, we be taking the gold. Storm clouds rolling, tides going mad, who's out sailing? Shout it out, Captain Mat!
Hello, and welcome back. Game 2. Tyler versus Chris, Bit Prodigy versus Headshot, Viktor versus Kaisa. We have Viktor leading with Arena's Greatest, trying to get the extra point, go a little bit more aggro on this game, and on the play, going to give him a little bit of advantage. Kaisa player coming out with Void Gate, giving the extra instance of damage on every spell or ability. Tyler going to start off the turn here, turn 1, just playing a simple recruit. No 2 rune units, so just going to play the recruit to base. And Chris going to go ahead and start his turn with a Ravenbloom student to base. Peeking over the shoulder of Tyler at the moment. Starting off the play. Recruit goes up into Arena's Greatest. Tyler moves to 2 points. We do see the Seal. Looks like that's what he's priming to play here. Seal of Unity. Looks like he's got the Vanguard Captain for the Legion trigger. 2 more recruits come down to base. Using the extra rune there with the Legend to trigger a 3rd recruit. 6 might already on the battlefield, or excuse me, on the base represented with 1 recruit already on the battlefield. Not too bad, Tyler. I feel like this is a much better start than the last game, for sure, for you. Getting to start, getting to play first is one thing, but just having the combo of cards there, the Legion and the Vanguard was huge, I feel like. That was great with the Seal. Chris is going to take a few moments here to think about what the correct play for him is here. Ravenbloom student is available to take that other battlefield, but with just a couple of recruits, Tyler's able to conquer back, so let's see if he doesn't trade in. Yeah, there we go. Trade into the Arena's Greatest instead. That's what I was thinking. And Chris moves up to 2 points himself. Plays Watchful Sentry at the base. Triggering his own Legion. Noxus Hopeful. Backing up the Ravenbloom student at the Arena's Greatest. Looks like we're going to try to play a little bit of hold here. He does have the 1 rune available, so if his habits are anything from the last few games that we've been able to spectate, he's probably sitting on a retreat, is what I'm guessing. Tyler, consult the past. Looks like we're sitting ready. Going to hide that at the battlefield that he does control over there on the Void Gate. Manufacturer to the base here. Faithful Manufacturer, when you play me, play a recruit unit token here. And we'll use an extra rune to use the Legend. So 4 recruit tokens totaling at the base at the moment.
Now you have Cathian Rain.
We will pass it back over to Chris. Chris going to move up to 3 points.
Yep.
Tie game so far, pretty even tempo, even though it feels like Tyler might have some answers here already. If we look over in his hand, we got Singularity and Coal of the Week, so it looks like if he wanted to, he could easily clean up Chris's board here on the next turn. We'll see what he does want to do on his next turn. Of course, Chris's turn right now. Chris taking a moment here to decide what he wants to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kaisa comes in accelerated. Chris deciding to take the Watcher and Kaisa into the Void Gate. Triggering Consult the Pass for Tyler here at reaction speed. It will allow Tyler to draw a couple of extra cards. Trades with the Watcher for the Recruit. And Chris will conquer with Kaisa, drawing a card, gaining a point, going up to 4. Already taking the tempo with the lead for the points. Leaving a couple of runes open here. You can imagine that Chris is going to have a retreat in hand. We know how much he likes to play with that card here. The last couple of matches we spectated, it seems like he's used that to great effect. And being able to play Kaisa back-to-back turns for, essentially 1 power cost for the Accelerate is such a good bounce back for tempo, as opposed to losing her or trying to trade her for units.
6, channel 2 blue for Singularity.
Tyler starting off his turn here with a Singularity, deal 6 up to 2 units. He will target Kaisa and the Noxus Hopeful, it sounds like, here from the audio that I'm picking up. Chris taking Retreat onto the Kaisa here. Kaisa going back to hand, just like we thought, just like we expected. Unfortunately for that Noxus Hopeful, he will die. Singularity, a pretty good spell, I feel like, for Tyler in this instance. Unfortunate that last game that he was only able to hit Kaisa solo with it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself even on the board here. Moving up 1 single recruit token into the Void Gate. Tyler's going to go up to 4 points himself, tie game. Peeking into his hand here, looks like he's got 2 Coal of the Weeks possibly. Moving up with a couple of recruit tokens, Faithful Manufacturer and Vanguard Captain. So even if Chris has some damage, can take out a unit and pump the recruit, he's still not going to be able to win this combat, I don't believe. But we do play the Stupefy for Chris here. We will target the Vanguard Captain, and we will move the Ravenbloom Student up to 4 because he's already played 2 spells, I believe, this turn, the Retreat and the Stupefy. There we go. Yes, that's correct. So we will trade with the Vanguard Captain and the other unit, the non-token units, as is the smart thing to do usually when you're playing against yellow Viktor. Don't want Viktor Leader to come down and have him have a bunch of non-token units at the battlefields. Chris drawing a second Acathian Rain. Stupefy, looks like he's got a Watcher in hand here, a Yordle, and a backup Kaisa. Or not backup, I guess that's the first one since we played the Retreat on her still. We know he does play 2 at least. I'm not sure if he does play a 3rd in this deck specifically, but I know he does at least play 2. Acathian Rain coming down to mop up the rest of the board here. It looks like that Acathian Rain, such a good spell against Viktor. Feels like it was meant to be. Completely wipes Tyler's board. Follows up with a Ravenbloom Student to finish his turn. Tyler playing off the beginning of his turn, Coal of the Week. As he has no creatures, he will get that free kill for on the Ravenbloom Student. As he has a Seal, it's going to be basically free for no power.
Yep, I have a 5 or a 4 right now.
We do have Faithful Manufacturer coming down here. We're triggering to make an extra recruit token there. And then follow up with the second recruit token for the Viktor Legend. Rebuilding the board pretty well here. That's what Viktor does best. Unchecked Power. Was that the pickup, it looks like, for Chris here? It looks like in the very back of the hand. Unchecked Power. Yeah, I believe that's what that is. That card has beaten me by a large margin one time. trying to play hold the battlefield does not work very well if they are playing unchecked power. Good card, good card. Not sure it's super great in this matchup, so maybe possibly a sideboard option card, but it feels like if he's got multiple units, maybe that's the tech, the idea behind it, is that if he's got multiple recruit tokens, we can just blow them all up with the unchecked power, so maybe that's why we're deciding to hold on to that one. Kaisa moving up into that battlefield will give us a draw trigger, drawing into Thousand Tail Watcher. So we got a couple of extra finishers in hand. Unchecked power, second signature spell, and a Thousand Tail Watcher in hand for Chris at the moment. Tyler still feeling okay. We got 5 points apiece, tie game, starting off the turn for Tyler. He's got 2 recruit tokens in base and a Faint Field Manufacturer. He will move the first recruit token in. Looks like we're going to trade for the Watcher to try to just do a 1-for-1 trade to get the turn started. Looking over in Chris's hand, Stupefy, Kaisa. Tyler taking his second recruit token into the Arena's Greatest. And following up, after we get the point, moving up to 6, we're going to Cold the Week again, back to back. And then very, very confidently moving up the Faithful Manufacturer as he should, up to 7. There we go, conquering Void Gate, fully exhausted, so Chris doesn't have any play that he can counter, any interaction that he can play at this moment. Feeling pretty good for Tyler right now. Feeling like he's got this one, maybe, very, very possibly, very possibly. I do question, if you're going to make a Viktor recruit token, why you wouldn't have made that one first and left your other recruit token on the base for double bases to try to really put pressure on. That way Chris would have had to double conquer, or to, essentially conquer both bases to get you, otherwise you win. So that's my only concern right here, and we'll see if that... Yeah, okay, so you did play the Viktor token, you did play the Vanguard and a Poro, 3 recruit tokens, so I wonder if we could have played Viktor token first before the Cold of Week, left that other recruit token on the battlefield, and put Chris in a really, really tough position here. Chris drawing into what looks like Hextech Ray. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8 runes available. 3, 4, 5, 6 units down. Unfortunately, there is 1 extra might on the Vanguard Captain, so if he if he stupefies the Vanguard Captain and plays a Cathian Rain, that could wipe the board again. Instead, we got the Hextech Ray here, deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield. And then following up with a Cathian Rain. Yeah, that will actually do it. I think my math was wrong when I first spoke at the beginning of that turn there. I forgot about the extra unit, the Vanguard at the base. Chris still at this point playing a little bit of catch-up, trying to do what he has to do to just stay even. Tyler got that ultimate 7-point lead. 7 points and 2-point lead, excuse me. Back-to-back Poros coming down for Tyler this turn. Feels pretty good, feels pretty good. Viktor leader coming into play. Legend ability, and just like that, a Cathian Rain might wipe your board, but if you're Viktor, the rebuild is real. And second Watcher coming in the hand, it looks like, for Chris. That's feels okay if it's not the last turn of the game. I mean, he just doesn't have any... Oh, yeah, not sure what the right play was for Chris, if he would have played that differently, if that would have done things differently. I mean, if he had... If Tyler would have had the recruit token, he definitely would have had to play that. Chris would have had to play that last turn the way he did, no matter what, because he would have had to direct damage both units off the battlefield. I guess he could possibly he had the runes to accelerate Watcher possibly and then play the Hextech. I don't know. We'll have to somebody could rewind that and double check. Maybe he had the runes to play Hextech and Accelerated Watcher, in which case he would have been able to conquer both battlefields. So, not quite sure, but we don't want to leave Tyler an opportunity to double conquer back. And playing the Acathian Rain is probably the safest bet to do that. Tyler has one rune available, but again, Chris gonna play the Kaisa here, accelerated, move up into the Void Gate, go up to 6 point, draws into a second unchecked power. Oh, that's just not what he needs to see right now to finish this out. So close, so close. This is such a close game for Chris, but I think Tyler might have it if he's got the kill spell here. I mean, Stupefy coming out for the beginning of the turn. He does have the Hidden Blade, so yeah, no matter what Chris does here, I think Tyler's got this one in the bag. Looks like we're gonna go into game 3, but we'll take it slow here. Daring Poro gonna move in. Stupefy is gonna come down for Chris. That will allow Kaisa to eat that first Poro. Now the damage is gonna heal. So, unfortunately, that will trade Kaisa.
Trigger Viktor, make a recruit. Try to move a recruit to arenas. To Void Gate.
Recruit comes up. He does have it, and Viktor gonna move up into the arena's greatest for game 2. All right, boys, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to game 3. Ahoy and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3. We are full sail ahead. Double Vile Ma's layer coming out. That is my least favorite combo of Battlefields ever. I have had to play this multiple times with a few friends that play in my local Nexus nights, and it is straight terror. I hate this combination. This is game 3. Starting off the turn, Chris is going to be able to play first. Ravenbloom student to the base. This is such a good game, such a close one. It's been such an honor to be here with you guys so far. It has been a great learning experience doing these videos, and it's already time for Summoners Skirmish on set 2. I hope I can get a couple of videos out before I have to do any large productions like this Summoners Skirmish. It is very, very much a large task for one man to do, let alone one little guy like me working on a little laptop and doing the best he can, trying to take care of a little 2-year-old as well. All right, back to the game. Tyler starting off his turn, Soaring Scout, followed up with a Recruit token to base. Passing it back over to Chris. Chris going to move his Ravenbloom student up to his Vile Ma's lair, I guess we could call it. I guess it doesn't really much matter since they're both the same, which one's which, but for all intents and purposes, to keep the graphical displays clear, we'll call it his Vile Ma layer. Scoring the first point and passing the turn back to Tyler. No play here, so Tyler's going to move up the Soaring Scout. Hextech Ray comes down for Chris. Recruit token looks like it's going to be moved up into Vile Ma's as well. Second Hextech Ray comes down for Chris. No points, not allowed this game, Chris says. Honestly, it feels kind of expensive as far as, it's going to cost a little bit of power. But as far as the tempo and holding points off, I really think that's the correct play to do if you get the opportunity, especially if you're sitting with a couple of Hextechs. It's so good. Tyler already rebuilding the base with his turn with a Daring Poro, Soaring Scout, and an additional 1/1 Recruit token. Passing it back over to Chris. Chris will hold up to 2 points with his Ravenbloom student. She's going to live there and die there, as it is Vile Ma's lair. Not really sure what Chris wants to do here, if he's going to play a couple more units or start off with the spells. Looks like we are going to play back-to-back spells. Falling Star comes down. It sounds like Tyler's trying to possibly intrigue Chris into targeting the Recruit token. Instead, Chris is going to make the correct play, I believe, going for the non-Recruit token units. hitting the Soaring Scout and the Daring Toro.
Reds are not a
Little friendly banter back between these two.
It's still really
But
good. It forces me to have to play differently. So I don't fault you.
Tyler taking the turn back here. Let's see what he can do to rebuild this turn. First point for Tyler goes on the board. Vile Moz taken by the recruit token that wasn't killed last turn. Little over the shoulder here with Chris. Looks like he's got that Acathian Rain, that Thousand Tail Watcher that we love to see winning games all too often, even here through set 2, I believe. She's still such a powerhouse. Cleave rounding out the hand for Chris, I believe, there as well. Tyler looks like he wants to pull off 5 runes here. Not quite sure if he wants to bring in his Viktor, possibly. Looks like we might be combo thinking Legion with that Vanguard Captain again.
3 cards in hand.
Taking his time here, thinking very deeply about what he wants to do. Appears Machine Evangel is going to come down to the battlefield to back up in the Vile Moz lair. That's actually a great card to have on Vile Moz lair. I love that card for Viktor. Vanguard Captain also being played in the Legion, allowing him to proc 2 extra recruit tokens using the last rune with the legend. That will make a 3rd recruit token. So like we said, Viktor able to just produce such a board presence out of nothing. 4-5 might represented at Vile Moz already. 6 might represented already at his base. He is fully tapped out. 2 cards in hand. Stupefy. Was it Blast Cone Fey? Was that the back card that I saw there? I wasn't quite sure. I'm not 100% sure if that was Blast Cone Fey or not. This game gonna come down to the line, gonna come down to the wire. Both these players very, very good at recognizing what their best play is and what their outs are. Chris, we know he's got the Thousand Tail Watcher. We know he's sitting on a Acathian Rain. I believe Stupefy, whatever he picked up on the draw on this turn as well. Got Kaisa still available to be played as well. Honestly, with 3 points to 1 and sitting on Vile Moz, I feel like it's sit back and wait. Like, just develop your board as best as you want. There's no real reason to push into that Machine Evangel right at the moment. That's just going to trade and give Tyler more presence on his base and more options to move his might around versus having that 4 might locked up there. And again, it's up to Tyler to move you off the base. So I think Chris is in a good place with just sitting back here and developing his own board, whether it be a little bit more might on the Vile Moz layer or at base. I feel like, other than playing a Kaisa onto the Vile Moz, that there is no wrong play here at this moment. Was that retreat that I saw there possibly in his hands? So maybe Kaisa does come down actually. We know that if he's got retreat in his hand, yeah, that looks like retreat. So if he's got retreat, he's gonna play the Kaisa. He feels very secure playing Kaisa, as most people probably would, as any player would do if you had a way to protect her. When I played my Legends, I feel very good having a Zonia's Hourglass, or in the new set here, we got the Guardian Angel. Feels good playing a unit and being able to play them in a protection state. Especially if you're playing against a Singularity, as we know Tyler's been able to produce both the last games here. Tyler taking a few moments to do a little bit of math here. Looks like he's got Sprite Mother at the beginning of the hand. When you play me, he's got the Ready of the 3 Sprite unit token with temporary. Looks like he's set the Sprite token aside with a recruit token and the Vanguard Captain, possibly deciding if he wants to attack in or make a play first here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Viktor leader comes down to the base. Going to give him an opportunity to make some more recruit tokens off of these trades here. Moving up, Vanguard Captain, 1 recruit, and the Sprite unit into the Vilema's lair. Right now, Ravenbloom student only able to trade with the recruit token. So Stupefy probably the play for Chris. Allow him to pump up his Ravenbloom student to 3 and drop one of the Vanguard Captain, I'd imagine, down to 2. Yeah, that seems like the correct line of play here. Stupefy coming down, targeting Vanguard Captain, moves the Vanguard Captain down to 2 might. Ravenbloom student with 3 might will be able to take the Vanguard Captain and the recruit unit, leave the Sprite unit, temporary, doesn't get the whole point.
I'm gonna Stupefy her.
Oh, looks like Stupefy being played in reply for Tyler. Ravenbloom student back down to 2. So, unfortunately for Chris, he'll only be able to trade with 1 unit. Looks like he will take that Vanguard Captain. Recruit token and Sprite token do conquer. Tyler goes up to 3 points. And technically he should get his recruit token. There it is. Doesn't forget, recruit token comes in for Vanguard right there. And then the last rune. There we go. There it is. Last rune plays the second token. 4 tokens, it looks like, at base. Sprite Mother, Viktor. Again, not a bad base presence for Viktor player at the moment. As we know, Acathian Rain is such a impactful spell in this matchup, though, for Tyler. So, as Chris does have it in hands, no surprises to us, but Chris has got to feel like he's not too far behind, if feeling like he's behind at all, since he's got the answer mostly with Thousand Tail Watcher and Acathian Raid already in hand. Kaisa does ready this turn, giving him an option to conquer into the Vilema's lair that we'll consider his, the right one on the display, top one on the video. It does make things interesting, though, having the Sprite token there for the extra 3 might. Does force Chris into some consideration with his attack here. He will have to spell. He will have to do something to interact that. Otherwise, we can't trade Kaisa.
As long as it was filmed here, you're more than welcome.
Kathy and Rain going to start off the turn here, coming down big for Chris.
We honestly would like.
Let's see what the targets are. I mean, we can imagine Viktor leader is going to be the first one here. Let's see here. The stacking that he says he wants to make sure that the last 2 are going to be on Viktor. Looks like we're going to just target 4 recruits and then target Viktor. So a recruit from each battlefield, 2 recruits from the base. Kaisa going to move into Vilema's lair now that she can advantageously win that combat. Eating that Sprite token moves up Chris from 3 to 4 points, taking the lead, drawing a card.
Correct, yes.
Normally a terrible feeling having your Kaisa stuck on Vilema's, but we know Chris likes to play that retreat, so we can expect with 1 mana open, 1 rune here available, that he's probably got that in hand. Yeah. Pretty consistently his play here so far. Tyler taking a moment to double check how many spells Chris has played. So you see a couple of Falling Stars, or excuse me, a couple of Hex Techs. We know he does play the Falling Star. Kathy and Rain already been played. Moving up 2 recruit tokens and a Sprite Mother into the Vilema's. Looks like Tyler's going to try to take this damage here, or trade here. Yeah, and out of character, actually. Looks like Chris doesn't have the retreat. We know that he's got the Thousand Tail Watcher to respond if needed. Mega Mech coming down to back up that recruit token. That's a huge body. Good job, Tyler. That's got to feel pretty good. He just took the point tempo back, got a big body on play. We've got Machine Evangel over on the other Vile Moz, so come at me, bro, you know? That's got to feel pretty good, feeling pretty good. Unfortunately, we're staring at Kaisa with, 5-6 cards in hand. And if there's anything Kaisa's good at, it's coming back with just a couple of cards. Chris taking a few moments here to think about what he wants to do for this turn. Looks like we're about halfway of this game, but this game can get kind of swingy sometimes when in these later stages when you're coming to Thousand Tail Watchers and a Cathian Reigns. Tyler fully exhausted, 2 cards in hand. Chris basically able to do whatever he wants here, free to do whatever he wants. Thousand Tail Watcher is the play, it looks like. And we will play it accelerated. Yeah. Feels pretty good moving that into the Mega Mech. That's unfortunately not something you can play around, I don't feel like, for this case for Tyler. That he kind of had to play it and jump up there to try to hold a little bit. Chris does conquer up to 5, passes it back over to Tyler. Tyler's going to move up to 6 points. We're close. If we can just get another hold or 2 with that Machine Evangel, we can be in a good position. At the same time, it only takes one more Thousand Tail Watcher to really feel like it's a blowout, or another Cathian Reign to really, blow up the board again. Even at this point in time, with only, 1 extra recruit at base, 4 recruits, what's that really going to do for you? Faithful Manufacturer coming down to the base, going to be able to pump it up a little bit further there as far as the might. Poro coming down, Soaring Scout coming down, boom, boom, boom. Hand is empty for Tyler. 3 recruit tokens, Faithful Manufacturer, Soaring Scout, Daring Poro. Let's count that up. 3, 6, 7, 8 might at the base. Passing it back over to Chris, 6 to 6. This one's going to come down to the wire, it looks like, just like the first game.
It's my lucky moment.
Actually, I believe the second game. More like the second game. The first game was kind of a blowout, wasn't it? These last couple though, they've been worth the watch time here. This has been great so far. Close matches. We do see Tyler fully exhausted, so we can't get the game win here with headshot with Chris holding with Thousand Tail. We can't win. He's holding up to 6, so we can go up to 7 and put Tyler in a really, really tough position with a lot of might on the battlefield. A Cathian Reign. He drew a second one, it looks like, actually. That is going to be such a huge cannon burst barrage. Oh my gosh. 6 units, and they're all 2 might. That was like it was meant to be for Chris. Good job, dude. Oh my gosh. That is a feels good moment right there. Tyler starts off his turn, goes up to 7. Top decking right now. Daring Poro coming down. Make a recruit token. That's not what you wanted to draw for Tyler. Unfortunately, there isn't anything that you really can feel like that you would want to draw. Hidden Blade, maybe. Hidden Blade would be something you'd want to draw. Cull of the Week would be something you would have wanted to draw.
Face.
But not getting the Watcher off, knowing how many accelerated units he plays, that's not going to feel good. Sorry, Tyler. Man, you did so well, though, man. Good job, dude. This has been such a great series from you, man.
You were looking at what you were doing.
Chris feeling like he's probably going to have it in the bag here.
There was no reason not to play those to the base.
A handful of cards, staring over at Tyler with no cards. Even with all the runes available, you're free to do whatever you want to do. So all he's got to do is show off a Kaisa, really. Kaisa with a Stupefy, or a Kaisa with a Cleave, or Hey, there we go. Falling Star. 1, 2. Both triggers going to the Evangel. It will allow him to make those extra recruit tokens, but there we go. We can see in his hand over here, Kaisa does come down. That will be the game. Great job, guys. Great job, Chris. GG, guys. Tyler, great job. Brother Bear, second place. Good job, good job. And Chris, you just won Titan Summoners Skirmish. What are you going to do next?
Go to Disneyland.
Disneyland! So awesome. This Summoner's Skirmish is in the books. If you're into Riftbound and this kind of content, you made it this far, thank you for hanging out with me today. Be sure to like, subscribe. We got more matches coming up in the next couple of weeks for set 2. We'll see you in the next one.